cut the cord, meaning they're going to drop cable. 9.3 million. What that means is if you have a cable network, you have a depreciating asset. So if you buy a cable network today, the moment you buy it, the value of it is going to go down because you're losing customers. BET, when it was sold by Bob Johnson, was in 72 million homes. They're now down, folks, in the 60s and the 50s. The game is being changed in cable, in the cable. So,
how y'all doing? My name is Antonio. My page is Unapologetically Black ADOS. Ask that you like and subscribe to the page. This is part 2 to Tyler Perry dodged the bullet. $3 billion price tag was a shot at bankrupting him. And this is what Europeans do. And us constantly chasing behind them, we're going to always end up with the tail end. Or say the short end of the stick. Here's the example. They bought BET when it had around 70 million subscribers at less than $3 billion. Now they're trying to sell it back to him with less subscribers, but a higher price.
It would be crazy to buy an asset today for more money than what it's actually worth. It makes no sense whatsoever. If you actually run the numbers, BET at best, if you're going to purchase a majority stake in BET, it's probably anywhere from $1 billion to $1.2 billion.
BET was sold with 70 million subscribers at less than $3 billion. Now, with subscriptions going down, cable cord, the growth potential lessening, Europeans want to sell it back to blacks at an even higher price. And I had a black man on my page tell me Tyler Perry could turn it around. This is why that is not the case. You have to understand the industries you are in and understand the obstacles you face as a black person, regardless of wealth.
At best. Now, why was Paramount interested in selling BET? Because they've been losing money on their streaming service, like all of the networks. Disney has lost $11 billion since 2019 on Disney+. Comcast last year lost nearly $4 billion on Paramount. Warner Discovery, they've been losing money. Paramount is even more perilous position compared to all the other networks because their market cap is small. You might say, wait a minute, it's Paramount, Viacom, it's CBS. Oh, they got the hit show Yellowstone. All that stuff means nothing. Pull up Netflix market cap. Netflix, y'all,
Paramount really tried to swindle him out of an additional $2 billion in order to use that revenue to build their streaming service. See, while we chase that tail, we can go straight to he will go straight to the head of the line if you got access to $3 billion and go do your own streaming network. You already have Tyler Perry Studios, where you have the ability to constantly create content. You have the ability to rent out access to other individuals to create content, right? So it'll be more feasible to build out his own streaming network. We have to stop being led by our emotions.
pull up Netflix market cap. Netflix market cap is the highest of any media company. All right, Netflix, okay? It's 178 billion market cap. Now pull up Disney. Disney's market cap, okay, the close of today is $157 billion. Pull up Comcast. Comcast is third. Their market cap is 190. So actually it was Netflix, Comcast, and then Disney in terms of market cap. Now pull up Warner Discovery. Warner Discovery, that merger, their market cap is 31 billion. Now show Paramount's market cap. Their market cap, y'all, is less than 10 billion. They are the smallest major media company out of all of them. So they were hoping to sucker somebody black into overspending to buy BET, BET Plus, and VH1. That literally made no sense whatsoever.
My honest opinion, the only way the deal for Tyler Perry to seek control of BET would have been if they would allow Tyler Perry to make a $3 billion investment into Paramount as a whole and allow Tyler Perry to run BET and operate BET and create the content for BET. That's the only thing I would see would be feasible, and he's the only person I would see feasible for buying it along them type of arrangements. And if white people was really negotiating with a good heart and a good conscience, it probably would be a deal similar to that, right? And that would be really in their best interest. That would be them getting the talents of a black of the black community, getting the content of the black community, and as well as getting the needed investment. But white people don't like to deal with black people on fair terms.
Will offer to try to get the bids, but they got suckered into people throwing out crazy numbers when BET was never worth those numbers. It would be financial suicide to bid $3 billion for something that wasn't even purchased for $3 billion when it was at its highest. Who should we listen to on that one? How about Bob Johnson? This is what he told Bloomberg.
You operate BET before you sold to Viacom.
20 years.
You sold for roughly $3 billion ultimately. So in hindsight, had you held on longer, would it be worth more today, or would it be worth less today because the cable world's changed so much?
It would be, in my opinion, less today, because once streaming came along and the technology allowed people to have streaming wherever they could carry content, on your phone, on your laptop, in your home, wherever you go, it changed the paradigm of cable, and it allowed people to sort of pick and choose in an a la carte way what they wanted to watch. So if you only wanted to watch Netflix, you just get Netflix. Cable, you were paying for a bundle, even though you didn't watch all of the channels. So some people were paying for, if you weren't a sports fan, you're paying 30 cents, 30, 40 cents, whatever it is now.
Now, I need you to also be clear that that is a way that the cable networks had limited the distribution of a lot of black channels. What the cable networks did is they bundled a lot of the black channels with the sports package, so that therefore you had to pay the ESPN sports package fee, right, in order to get the black channel. So this placed ESPN in a lot more extra households than necessary. For example, my mother had to get ESPN, the sports package, in order to get TV One. So this was another way that the cable outlets fleeced the black community out of money. But if you notice on there, when you look up what was the fees that BET received, you can't even find that online. And some say it's around 25, 30 cents, but I couldn't find it.
For ESPN. But if you never watched ESPN, you had to pay for it because it's part of a bundle.
Actually, you're not paying 30 or 40 cents for ESPN. You're really paying anywhere from $8 to $10 for ESPN. See, here's what people don't understand. When you get your cable bill, you know why your cable bill is so high? It's because most of these cable networks, they're being paid per subs. Meaning, the cable companies are negotiating with the cable networks, and so they say, okay, we're going to pay for this. So all y'all people, everybody out here, you have cable and you hate Fox News, you're subsidizing Fox News. You didn't realize that, huh? Yeah, you are subsidizing Fox News. Because if Fox News is in 80 million homes, and Fox News has negotiated a $2 per sub carriage fee, that means, pull your calculator out, that means 80 million times $2, that's what Fox News gets per month for the cable companies per year for the length.
You have to understand how these television channels are paid. when they're on cable and you pay your cable bill, different channels negotiate different prices, what they get paid per subscriber. BET 25-30 cent, one of the lowest subscriber fees, and and probably the only black cable channel that actually receives sub fees, will continue to lose that revenue stream as people continue to cut the cable cord. So you have to take that into account when you are taking into account the price of the company, potential growth of the company, right? And what you have to invest in the company as far as content and changes you will make to make the company be a success. These things, these elements, people make opinions about and are not aware of all the elements when it goes into operating various businesses. So it is for my people to become more informed about the decisions that you would like to speak on or weigh in on.
Paramount now pulls it off of the table. BT is not going to be black owned. I wouldn't be surprised if they try to do it a little bit later, but here's the whole deal here. Anybody who tried to buy that network would have been crazy to spend that amount of money. It's smarter, frankly, if you're Diddy, why would you bid $1.5 billion, $2 billion on BET when you already own Revolt? It's smarter for you to take a tenth of that, 100 million, 200 million, and invest it in Revolt and build Revolt out to be a digital operation. Folks, understand what's happening in the cable business. It is dying. The numbers are going down, and those customers are not coming back.
Let's be clear. The lack of unity creates a lack of resources. It is not that blacks do not have the resources to develop or create a quality streaming network. It is that we lack the ability to work together as a collective for a common interest is what is hindering us. I'm just saying, if you can imagine if Puffy was able to offer 50 Cent and Ice Cube equity into Revolt, they take them finances, create a streaming network. You have content that you can have created through Ice Cube. You have content that can be created through 50. You have content and music can be produced and created through Puffy Outlet. And you also have sports that could be provided through Ice Cube, Big Three. So it is a various of things that hinders us from doing because of our lack of unity, or because these black people are so financially intertwined with Europeans who are not allowing them to work on behalf of themselves as a collective or their own people. But something is hindering blacks with any form of wealth from working together as a collective to hurdle the racial discriminations that they even face on their level. And this is something we have to ask ourselves, and if they cannot begin to work together and develop resources and means in order to pull the rest of us up, why should we continue to celebrate and support these people who are not willing to help others elevate?
Of the contract. Yep. BET has a carriage fee. BET's carriage fee could be 25 cents, 30 cents, 50 cents, whatever it is. But just understand in terms of the financial reality. So when cord cutting happens, meaning you say, I'm cutting my cable, that means that the cable companies are losing you as a subscriber, which means that the cable networks are losing subscribers. Pull up the Comcast story. This year alone, Comcast has shed 1.15 million subscribers to their cable systems. That's Comcast alone, 1.15 million. Folks, that's money walking out of the room. If the average cable bill is $100, Do the math. 1.15 million times $100 times 12. That's how much money Comcast is losing, and then the networks are losing money. So if you look at BET, the future of BET or any other cable network is going to really hinge on what is their digital strategy. So BET Plus, owned by Paramount, is not a part of Paramount Plus. Why? Because first, Tyler Perry owns 25% of BET Plus. That's one. Two, they actually are appealing to a different customer base. And so when you run those numbers, it makes sense to leave them as a standalone. And so what people have to understand here is that this is all a numbers game. This is a pure numbers game. And so through all the speculation, oh, the white folks didn't want it to be black.
When you add the factor of BET having such low sub fees and the fact that BET cable is losing subscribers, this is just one of the reasons why it is not feasible to purchase BET, especially at that exorbitant price. The next part I will address a real reason why, and the main reason why it is not feasible to purchase BET, and the only way that it would be feasible to run and operate a cable network that's beneficial to us would be based off of what we do as a people, as a collective.